Today we're going to hear some history regarding the Haddock family and their home in Ashcroft. James and Catherine Haddock were originally from New Brunswick, and they ventured to Victoria in 1883. Here they discovered that the wet environment of Victoria was not healthy for Catherine, and they packed up their bags in 1885 and headed to a drier climate in the far northern town of Ashcroft, where James acquired a job working for F.W. Foster as his store manager. Well, let's just say the Haddocks didn't have the easiest initiation to the town. Catherine, expecting a somewhat colder climate, wrapped her two youngsters, Charles and Arthur, in heavy winter clothing. They arrived in Ashcroft on a hot June day, where they found the heat tropical and almost unbearable. There was also very little in the way of accommodation to be found, so they put up a large tent behind Foster's store. The very first night, the tent blew down, and the next day a freight horse walked right through it, in one end and out the other. These stories became a source of amusement for the family over the years. The Haddocks soon found a residence behind the store, and the family occupied this for a time. Despite their tough initiation to the small town, the Haddocks quickly became involved in the community. In 1886, James arranged for a building that had been used by the Ashcroft Hotel as their drunk tank to be moved up the hill, and here it was converted into a schoolhouse. Haddock went to Victoria, hired a teacher, and paid him a salary out of his own pocket. He was also instrumental in securing a fire bell for the town, and was an active member of the fire brigade. Haddock also sat on the board of St. Albans Anglican Church during its creation, and he was involved in the Ashcroft Rink Company. After working for a number of years for Foster's, James and his son Arthur went into the fur buying business. In the 1890s, the Haddocks built their own house. This dwelling, that is situated at 504 Brink Street, was occupied by the family until the 1930s. The interior of the house is typical of the period. A long, narrow corridor leads from the front entrance, and a steep staircase near the front door leads to the bedroom upstairs. A lovely bay window sits at one side of the house, and the gingerbread highlights the peak of the roof. This compact three-bedroom house was home to James and Catherine, as well as their 3 children, and at times their grandchildren, and other children that needed a place to stay. Catherine Haddock lived in the dwelling until her death in 1930, and then granddaughter Thelma lived here until she retired from her taxi business and decided to go into farming. The Topham family were the next occupants of the abode, and once again the house was filled with children, as the Tophams raised a family of 4 boys and 1 girl in the dwelling. The children were all active in the sports community. Their son Mike continued to live in the house and had a beautiful garden growing an abundance of potatoes as well as strawberries. When Mike moved away in the early 1980s, the building fell into disrepair. It sat empty, and concern regarding it being a fire hazard was brought to the attention of the village council. But still the house remained. So this is the house today. The most recent owners have renovated the inside, and the new exterior paint job highlights the charm of the home. Some of the original character can still be found inside, including the wooden door frames, the pocket doors, and the steep staircase that leads to the upstairs. The Haddock family have contributed numerous artifacts and photos to the Ashcroft Museum, and here you can find these wonderful treasures that have been donated over the years.